dears, welcome to Way to Success Frame. Today we will learn history from class 8. And the chapter which we study is When People Rebel 1857 and After. In our previous chapters, we have studied that the policies made by the Britishers were affecting the lives of the Indian people in many ways. The policies of the East India Company affected different people like kings, queens, peasants, landlords, and soldiers in different ways. Nawabs and Rajas lost their authority and power since the mid 18th century. Many ruling families tried to negotiate with the company to protect their interests. For example, after the death of Gangadhar Rao, Rani Lakshmi Bai of Jhansi wanted the company to recognize her adopted son as the heir to the kingdom. But this demand was refused by the company. The state of Awadh entered into a subsidiary alliance with the company government in 1801. It was taken over by the company in 1856. The company even began to plan how to bring the Mughal dynasty to an end. In 1849, Governor General Dalhousie announced that after the death of Bahadur Shah Zafar, the family of the king would be shifted out of the Red Fort. In 1856, Governor General Canning decided that Bahadur Shah Zafar would be the last Mughal king. Bahadur Shah Zafar spent the last years of his life in a jail in Rangoon along with his wife. The peasants and the sepoys, the peasants and zamindars resented the high taxes and the rigid methods of revenue collection in the countryside. Many failed to pay back their loans to the moneylenders and gradually lost the lands they had tilled for generations. The sepoys were Indian soldiers who were recruited into the company's army. They were unhappy about their pay, allowances, and conditions of service. Some of the new rules violated their religious sensibilities and beliefs. In those days, many people in the country believed that if they crossed the sea, they would lose their religion and caste. When sepoys were told to go to Burma by the sea route to fight for the company, they refused to follow the order but agreed to go by the land route. They were severely punished. In 1856, the company passed a new law. It required every Indian soldier to serve overseas if required. Sepoys were also against the Britishers' behavior with the peasants, as many of them were from the families of peasants. So, the anger of the peasants quickly spread among the sepoys. Responses to reforms, many new laws were passed by Britishers to stop the practice of sati and encouraged widow remarriage. Education in the English language was highly promoted. After 1830, it became easier for Christian missionaries to own land in India. In 1850, a new law was passed to make conversion to Christianity easier. That enabled the converts to inherit their ancestral property. Many Indians started believing that Britishers were trying to destroy their religion, culture, and custom. A mutiny becomes a popular rebellion. A very large number of Indians developed a feeling that they had a common enemy and they should rebel against them. In March 1857, the biggest rebellion was faced by the East India Company that even threatened their existence in India. It was the beginning of Sepoy Mutiny from Meerut to several other parts of northeastern India. It was considered the biggest armed resistance to colonialism in the 19th century anywhere in the world. From Meerut to Delhi, on 29 March 1857, a soldier named Mangal Pandey was hanged to death for attacking his officers in Barakpur. After some days of this incident, some sepoys at Meerut refused to use the fat, greased cartridges. The cartridges were suspected of being coated with the fat of cows and pigs. On 9 May 1857, 85 sepoys were dismissed from service, and they were sentenced to 10 years in jail for disobeying their officers.
Let us now look at
The soldiers marched to the Meerut jail on 10th May and released the imprisoned sepoys. They attacked and killed British officers. They captured guns and ammunition and set fire to the buildings and properties of the British. After this, the sepoys reached Delhi in the early morning. The sepoys then gathered at Red Fort and demanded to meet the Mughal Emperor Bahadur Shah Zafar. Initially, the aging emperor was not ready to be part of this rebellion, but finally he accepted the demand. He called other chiefs and rulers through letters to organize a confederacy of Indian states to fight the British. Most smaller rulers controlled different territories on behalf of the Mughals and were threatened of losing their territories to the Britishers. So they joined Bahadur Shah Zafar in this movement. Britishers had never expected this, as they thought that the cartridge issue would die down soon. But Bahadur Shah Zafar's decision to support the rebellion changed the entire situation. The rebellion spreads. The rebellion that started from Meerut has spread over whole of the India. Many regiments mutinied one after another at various places such as Delhi, Kanpur and Lucknow. Nana Sahib, the adopted son of the late Peshwa Bajirao, gathered sepoys in Kanpur and defeated the British forces. In Lucknow, Birjis Qadr was proclaimed as the new Nawab. Rani Lakshmi Bai joined the rebel sepoys in Jhansi and fought against the British forces along with Thantia Topi. Rani Avanti Bai Lodhi of Ramgarh raised an army of 4,000 against the Britishers. Many new leaders came up. For example, Ahmadullah Shah, a Maulvi from Faizabad, raised a huge force of supporters and fought against Britishers in Lucknow. Bhakt Khan, a soldier of Bareilly, and Kunwar Singh of Bihar were some of such fighters who fought against Britishers. The company fights back. Now the company wanted to repress the revolt completely. So, it brought reinforcements from England and passed new laws to convict the rebels easily. Delhi was recaptured by the Britishers in September 1857. The last Mughal ruler, Bahadur Shah Zafar, was sentenced to life imprisonment in Rangoon in October 1858. Bahadur Shah Zafar died in the Rangoon jail in November 1862. Lucknow was taken in March 1858, and Rani Lakshmi Bai was defeated and killed in June 1858. Rani Avanti Bai chose to embrace death when surrounded by the British on all sides. Thantia Topi escaped to jungle and gathered tribal and peasants to fight, but he was captured and killed in April 1859. The British tried their best to win back the loyalty of the people. For this they announced rewards for loyal landholders with the traditional rights over their lands. Aftermath. Let's look at some of the important changes introduced by the British. In 1859, Britishers gained back their control in the country. In 1858, a new rule was passed to transfer the control of East India Company to the British Crown for the better administration of India. All ruling chiefs assured that their territory would never be annexed in the future, and their kingdom will be passed on to their heirs, including the adopted son. But the Indian rulers were to hold their kingdoms as subordinates of the British Crown. The proportion of European soldiers will be increased and Indian soldiers will be reduced. And more Indian soldiers will be recruited from Gurkhas, Sikhs and Pathans. The land and property of Muslims were taken away, as the Britishers were suspicious of them, that they were responsible for the rebellion. The Britishers started respecting the culture and custom of Indians. Policies were made to protect landlords and zamindars and give them security of rights over their lands. Dears, from this chapter, we learnt the outrage of the people of India from different backgrounds against Britishers. I hope this video is beneficial for you to understand the concept of entire chapter quickly.